Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth, shifting you into higher consciousness. A show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, interviews with inspiring guests, experts, and celebrities, intuitive readings, channeled messages, mental health awareness, and hot topics to expand your awareness. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and magic.
Welcome back to Talk Purpose and Truth. It's Kim and Eden. Hello, Eden.
Hi, Kim. How are you today?
I am good, and I feel honored and excited because one of my old friends, they're not old, but they've been my friend for a long time.
Yeah.
My friend of nearly 20 years, Anahs, is on our show today. And he's someone that I used to work with when a lot of you probably don't even know that listen, that I was in the field of special ed for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so I actually worked with adults with severe behavior issues and special needs for quite a while. And then I went into teaching kids that were in moderate to severe classes. A lot of them were in wheelchairs. And Anahs was one of the instructional aides in the classroom. And so we became close friends because I did not want to hang out in a teacher's lounge where everybody was negative. And so I hung out with everybody in my classroom. And a class full of, I think it would be maybe at the most like 11 kids, we would need at least 5 instructional aides or helpers coming in there to help with, basically be other teachers in there because the kids need so much extra assistance. And so Anahs still does that to this day, even though he has 2 degrees, he believes in, helping these kids that, don't get as much privileges as the rest of us. And so they need the extra help. And he has recently been on a very brave journey. And I'm just proud of him and, just felt strongly. We're all about on this show of just being in your truth, which is our title. Being in your truth, being in your purpose, and just being love and being your best self and reducing the stigma around anything that is around mental health or anything judgmental, and just helping the world see how beautiful everyone can be as long as you're kind and compassionate and love-based. So welcome, Anahs. We're so happy to have you on.
Hey Kim, thank you for having me. It is such a pleasure to be on your show. Like you're a rock star. You're a rock star. Even when you left the school to do your own thing, like you a rock star. So it is definitely, without saying, I am privileged and honored to know you as well. Like I mean, we've been at this almost 2 decades.
Yeah, crazy.
Man,
before I had kids.
A long time.
Yeah.
So Anahs, can you share details with us about what led you to stepping into your truth?
My truth. Oh, okay.
Your truest self.
My true self. So yes, to be honest with you, I actually do not announce that I am a transgendered man. Okay. It is it was one of those things that it's just who I am. It's not what I am, it's who I am. And what led me to just be able to live in my truth and authenticity was learning what self-love is and how to keep practicing that, because that's an act. You know what I mean? It's not something you have. Self-love is tuning in with yourself, even against all odds, and all odds is what's on the other side of that mirror, if you will. You know what I mean? So I think that just, I don't know I mean, I'm like, sorry if I'm a little tongue tied.
We'll ask you lots of questions. Don't worry.
I just knew who I am. Like I know who I am. I've always known who I am. I just didn't know how to live out loud or live in truth. I did not know how to do that. So to be honest with you, I had a college experience where I went to a conference where I saw somebody like me. That was it. It wasn't it was representation, and it wasn't done in a negative light. It wasn't done in a Hail Mary effort to be like, look at me, look at me. It was,
Mhm.
he was standing there, poised, educated. He was speaking with the purpose.
Hmm.
And you wouldn't have known. You would not have known unless he himself opened up his mouth to say, hey, my name is Kyle, and yes, I am transgender.
Hmm.
Right?
Right. Well, and
Um,
I remember I was telling you when we went to dinner not that long ago, and I was telling you how I always felt like you would be in your truth in this way because you would kind of say comments years and years ago. And then you shared with me that you didn't really think of it, like you didn't know that you'd ever do this. And that
mhm.
college experience is what led you like, hey, wait a minute, I'm not all the way being in my truth yet until you made
Correct.
that decision, right? And how
Yes.
hard was that decision? Like what went through your mind?
What went through my mind? Fear,
Hmm.
fear. Um, to be to be different in any capacity, and face and stand in the environment that you're in, whether that's your family, whether that's your occupation, whether that's out in the community. You're making a choice to show who you are in any of those moments, right? So I wanted to be quote unquote normal. I didn't want to be different, so fear was the first thing that ran through my mind. Was like, uh, it wasn't about acceptance, really. There's so much I want to unpack here when I say that, because it was me accepting myself.
Hmm.
First, it was me saying, hey, my name is Anahs and I am here to stay, right?
Mhm.
That's it. It does not matter about the race, the religion, the sexuality, the this, the whatever. It's just, now that I know who I am and being able to stand up for that, it's something else. But in the beginning, I didn't have that. In the beginning, it was literally just fear. It was constant questions of what parts of myself did I miss out on early on? Like what what am I getting myself into going forward? And so it was only questions I could answer, right? Obviously. But literally, Kim, like I didn't fully know myself, so I didn't know the capability of of the things that the tools that I had. Like, what could I be who I know myself to be and stand up and live in truth? I did not know. I did not have the answer back then.
Mhm.
And part of, I think you were, from what I know, you were living partially your truth because you were living as a lesbian female. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was born female. On my original birth certificate, there's an F for fake, okay?
Oh, okay.
Fake. Like, no. No, seriously. In all honesty, yes, as I was born female. So, and I've always loved women. That was never, it's like, how did you know you were left or right-handed? You just knew.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Yeah.
Yeah.
knew.
That's a
So
great example.
I have always loved women. I am going to be honest. No matter what body presenting forward, I love women, and always have. Like, there
Uh-huh.
is no side of me that is or is attracted to men in that regard. I've always loved women.
Huh.
Got
Okay.
And
It's
then
just,
what?
yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, can for the people listening, because
Yeah.
we want to really help reduce any stigma, and we also want
Yeah.
people to be educated and informed. What is the difference between like being transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, all of that? Like, what is the difference?
Okay. Woo. Okay. So yeah, you got the LGBTQ plus IA,
You don't.
ABC.
I mean, you don't need to go into
No.
every single one, but in general.
Well, transgender is when you are born into this world, you are either male or female. and you transition into the opposite gender, into the opposite sex. And sometimes sex and gender are used interdependently, really interchangeably. I'm sorry, interchangeably. The transgender is just your gender, male, female,
Mm-hmm.
girl, boy, and now we know, now there's a term non-binary, where there are individuals who do not feel male or female, that their energy is just internally and does not weigh heavily on either side. So transgender, just from like, as easy as I can say it, is born one way and transition into another.
Mm-hmm.
And sexuality is not to be confused with gender. Most of the time is just who you are attracted to. Who do you love at the end of the day? Like, like there are people, like we have heterosexuals, right? We know that, like, man and woman, they're married. This is who they are attracted to and will remain attracted to. So they are heterosexual. And lesbians, we get it. Two women who love each other, they're going to be together. Same thing with gays. It's just your
Mm-hmm.
sexuality is who you are attracted to, and who you want and who you can see yourself living the rest of your life with.
Right. Right. And I think that it's important for people to think about this. Like, if you're currently in a place of judging any of this, it's like, does it really matter who someone else loves? Like, why does that matter? You know what I mean? Like, they're spreading love. And if that works for them to love someone, a man loves a man, and whatever, any of it, who cares, as long as there's more love in the world? That's how I see it.
Yes, and I do. Yes, and love wins at the end of the day. And so I can go back and answer your question, like, because I'm able to love myself in such a regard that I am able to live in my authenticity. I am able to say I am now proud of the individual looking back at me in front of the mirror. I don't need a pat on the back from Joe down the block. I don't need special recognition from Rachel up the street. That's not what this is about. And it is about being able to look at that person in the mirror and genuinely say, I love you. I love the person you are. I love the person you are becoming. I love that you know this about yourself and you are embracing it. So,
Mm-hmm.
so did I know back then what transgender was? Absolutely not, Kim. I did not know. My only experience close to, I guess, what a transgender individual would be, I thought was RuPaul.
Yeah.
Okay.
RuPaul is a cross dresser, drag queen,
Mm-hmm.
but you take all of that off, he is a gay man. But I thought that he was living his life as a woman, like,
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely thought, because whenever you saw RuPaul, you just saw him in heels
Yeah.
and wigs, right? Like,
Saute.
I mean,
Drag, yeah.
Yeah.
like he was giving Tyra Banks a run for her money, okay?
Yeah. He still
Yeah,
looks good.
yeah, seriously. But I didn't know, like, people like me. I didn't know, even back then when I was when I was identifying as a lesbian and female. I didn't see people like me. I did not know.
Yeah.
So even Black, lesbian, queer representation wasn't something that I was privileged to. It was secretly knowing the Jodie Fosters and the Ellen DeGenereses
Yeah.
and McDonald's, right? Secretly knowing that they have this in common, which is their sexuality, that they love women, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't talked about. It wasn't mainstream. It wasn't something you could walk around and be like, hey, I see Joe and Rachel holding hands, so why can't I see Stacy and Christina holding hands? It we
Right.
we weren't there yet. We still have a
Right.
long way to go, but we weren't there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's been a lot of progress, but then there's areas where there's not at all. So,
Correct.
it's at least there's been some in certain areas where it is more, at least here in California, it's more, accepted in some ways. But I think talking about it is key, like with anything, that, like, it's so helpful for someone that's been in a dark place or a place where they're confused or they think they're the only one. If other people will just be talking about things, they go, oh my God, they have it too. You know, we were talking about that recently with the celebrities coming out about their mental health, you know, Selena Gomez, Matthew Perry. Same thing goes for any of this, people coming in the limelight going, hey, you know, like I was just talking about going to see Adam Lambert and him going, you know, hi gay, how many of you here are gay? It's like, yes, just make it the norm so everybody finally gets to go, oh, okay.
Because just because it's an inclusive place doesn't make it an exclusive experience. You know what I mean? Like it's just saying, hey, this space honors who you are in this moment. This space is not for, you know, for the negativity or for this. Like, we see you, we know you exist. And that's what people really need to understand, is that people exist. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, once you're born, you're existing, you're here. So your experience is going to be yours. So nobody can tell you about yourself better than you can.
Yeah.
Nobody can. Nobody should be able to shut off this journey or this experience that you need to go on. You know what I mean?
Right.
To find your inner joy, your inner fulfillment. Like, for example, Kim, when you left all those years ago from school to step into your own, like, you guys, I want you to understand, Kim left teaching to go into entrepreneurship. She did not leave teaching and be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go be a lawyer now, bye. She didn't say, I'm gonna go leave and go be a truck. She left and said, I'm gonna go work for myself. And we were just looking at her like, okay, Kim, okay. Like, because back then her mindset was already at the I know what I want and I'm gonna make it happen. But Kim, if somebody came up to you and just knocked that wind right out of you, can't do that. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Stop it. Like, cut it. And they cut that experience off. Do you feel like you would be at this level of joy you're at in this current moment?
Yeah, I mean, it would depend. Like, I think it would squash me a bit. Now it wouldn't, because I've learned how to look at it like, oh, they're coming from their own crap. But back then, it might have made me wait and pause a bit. So totally get what you're saying.
And did you experience discrimination? This is what Kim told me, more when you identified as a lesbian than you do now?
No, the other way around.
Or is it okay? So it was
now.
The other way. You experienced now.
When you were adopting your daughter, then you experienced some discrimination, and you said you used to not experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was more acceptable if you were a lesbian trying to adopt a child.
Correct. Okay. So yeah, okay. So here we go. I am a beautiful, beautiful parent to a beautiful, beautiful little girl. Okay. I got her September 2020. And she came into this world with a host of health issues, just because of the bio mother's past here. But I'll skip all of that for another time. But when it was figured out that I was transgender, because again, I told you I don't talk about it. It just is, right? So the way it was discovered was I have a former name, okay? And my former name is on a lot of old documents. And when you are going into fostering DCFS agencies, whatever, they need to dig and go into whatever. So it was a certain worker that came into contact with me through on my daughter's case. And from there, that's when everything really hit me, because up until that moment, discrimination wasn't something that I was actually subjected to. Like, I have family and friends that love me, go to church,
Mm.
everything. And it wasn't, but my experience with discrimination within within DCFS, oh, that ran high and pretty much traumatized me. So,
Oh, wow.
so in other words, the caseworker labeled me a deviant.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
Told me that I have mental health issues.
Oh,
And I was just like, wow, okay. And and sadly, there are going to be other people that think like her and believe the things that she believes about the LGBTQ community. But that was my main reason for never wanting to say anything, to avoid that experience. And
right.
so, so that so once so did so was my safety put and my daughter's safety put in jeopardy? Yes. Was I put in jeopardy? Absolutely, because now she's going to go back and report what she knows, and
Mm.
then now we have her supervisor who feels how she feels, and they felt that my daughter should have been removed from my home. And that part, honestly, as a person talking to you, from me to you, it devastated and broke my heart, because
Mm-hmm.
not only if I'm telling you, I'm the only one who has been here with this girl since she was 7 months old. I was up all night, from the seizures to the drug withdrawals, to she has chronic lung disease,
Mm.
breathing treatments, hospital runs, you name it. I mean, not walking to wearing helmets. She was going to be deemed a vegetable. Like, the doctors told me she wasn't going to walk, talk, or see. So you got to, think about all this emotional impact that this little girl is going through right now, and having on me as well. Um, but for somebody to come in into my home, where I pay good money to live, where
Mm-hmm.
I provide for my daughter, to come in with such a heavy judgment, to come in with such heavy criticism, with heavy negativity, and believe that this little girl that I have had in my care for, up until this point, 2 years now, to say that I have a mental health issue and that this girl should be removed from my home, that's devastating.
Right.
That hurts something deep, and it didn't make sense to me, just due to the fact, like, if all I'm doing is providing love to this little
Mm-hmm.
girl, honestly, what am I doing wrong now? What
Right.
what am, what
And
am
look
I
at how she's thriving, and like they could just observe her and see how much she's thriving with you. Like
And
that, like,
it's because of love.
yeah.
Yes.
Everything boils down to love.
Yes, yes, and I told Kim this, Eden. I tell her this all the time, but I told her this last time I told her. I said it took me 25 years to learn how to love myself. I don't have that kind of time to convince anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't walk into the room ready to judge somebody. I don't walk into the room expecting somebody to be like, "Oh, hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm a cis woman, and I blah blah blah." We don't care about any of that. We don't
Mm.
care about it. The reason why we need to talk about it is because her existence matters. Her experience as a cis woman matters, or my experience as a transgender man, it matters. And the reason why it matters is because we have to make things better.
And Kim, how do you feel about your friend transitioning?
I wasn't surprised because I feel like all along then that was his truth. And so I already saw that in him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is his truth. And so I was more like, wow, applauding the bravery, because I feel like it's scary to do anything that is outside the box, like, and sadly that is right now, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's really outside the box for us to be openly, like, doing readings, you know what I mean. Things like that are outside
Mm-hmm.
the box
Yeah.
too, because it's just not the total norm. And so I think it's extra brave to say, oh well, you know what, I'm going to be in my truth no matter what. And I
Yeah.
think that I just looked at it like, wow, I'm proud. And I know that one of our friends we worked with, who for years, that's like, she's like 80 something right now, Marlene, she feels like that, you know, she also, and she's older, you know, and she also is like, good for you, Anahs, you know. And I think that support is awesome for him, because you know that you have people in your corner, you know. I don't know, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, you want to surround yourself with people that are team you. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you are doing nothing but being you, a genuine, kind, loving person. You know, like I said, like I value our friendship because we've seen each other through so many different stages of our lives, and now you're seeing, you know, now that I'm happier, I'm living in what I know to be complete truth, what I know to be me. And that's like the best part about all of it. I think when you just find you inside of you with all that you-ness, I don't know how to say it, right?
It's like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. um it's just an amazing feeling, because like when people are in your corner, you don't, like, you just feel the wind is at your back, and you really can do whatever it is you want to do, you know, be who you need to be. Yeah.
Totally. So what do you feel like as a society that we need to do to be more in a place of being compassionate and understanding of the LGBTQ community? And how do we start doing this more? And what do you say to people that are haters, you know, critics?
Okay, first part I do want to say is, like, just let people be themselves. They know themselves better than you ever will. You will never be able to tell their story. You will only be able to tell your part in their story, how you are the puzzle piece in their life, and in that given moment. But you can never tell somebody who they are and how they feel. You're not going to be able to do that. And you know, as far as the LGBTQ community goes, um, just they're not nobody's asking for special privileges. It's just we're here, so don't make life any more difficult than it needs to be. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, there's so much that goes into being who you are as is. So the rejection and the animosity and all of that, it makes no sense for it to, in my mind, to exist for people being who they are. You know what I mean? Like, I I remember being asked, why did I by a family member, why did I choose this? Why did I choose?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it stopped me in my tracks, because I wanted to cry. I would not choose this. I would not choose to be alienated from my family. I would not choose to, you know, to who would choose, who would choose this? Who would? Like, if there was a way to be like, if I would be this way for my family to love me, I would do this right now.
Mm.
That's what they would choose. That's
Mhm.
what they would choose. They would give up themselves to for the love that's all they're asking for, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So no, I do not. So it's not a choice here. It's not a
Mhm.
choice. The choice is to either love or hate. That's the only choice you're gonna get in the matter. Love who you are or hate who you are. Love who you're around or hate who you're around. So but when it comes to the LGBTQ community, it's sympathy, empathy, the same thing you would give
Acceptance.
Mm.
acceptance, tolerance, the same thing you would give your coworker that you just met on the first day of work. You know what I mean? It's just like walking into the room and being like, "Ooh, I don't know you, but I got to be here with you anyway. So, you know, let's figure out some good stuff about you." It's like
Mhm.
when you're like, I feel like a lot of people will highlight a couple of things, you know, and when I agreed to do this podcast, I was hesitant about, you know, saying out loud that I'm a transgender man, because that's what people are going to take away mainly from this, and they may just throw my story away. Like, they may already have their formed opinion, just like that caseworker who came into my home and told me I had mental health issues, right? But the more we speak about these issues, like you said, Kim, the more we bring awareness to the fact, like, people are different and they exist, and they are not here to harm anybody. They are not here to disrupt or anything other than just say, hey, guess what, let's be cool, let's see if we can vibe together. That's it. We got to coexist somehow, right?
Thank you for listening to Talk Purpose and Truth podcast. Find out more at talkpurposeandtruth.com. And follow us at Talk Purpose Truth on Instagram and Facebook.